March 4th, 1933, Roosevelt's first day in office. With the banks closed, investment at a standstill, many Americans believed that the free enterprise system was failing. One aide wrote, "We were confronted with a choice between an orderly revolution or a violent overthrow of the whole capitalist structure." Roosevelt could hope, like Hoover, that the economy would repair itself, or he could try something that had never been done before in America: intervene on a massive scale with the power of the federal government.
I had a professor that taught the course in business cycles, and I remember he reached in his pocket and took a rubber band out, and he held it, and then he pulled it, and he said, "This is boom," and then he let go of one end and snapped back. He said, "Bust." He says, "This happens to a capitalistic economy, and you can't do anything about it. Let nature take its course." And Roosevelt, of course, brought around him a lot of people that didn't believe that bunk and thought you got to do something to turn it around.
Roosevelt's advisors offered him a range of programs. In the end, he would work from no systematic plan. Instead, he would experiment.
Try one idea, and if it doesn't work, we'll try another. He likened himself to a quarterback. You try a play, if that play doesn't work, you turn to another play.
It is common sense, Roosevelt said, to take a method and try it. If it fails, admit it frankly and try another. But above all, try something. In his first 100 days in office, Roosevelt managed to put tens of thousands of people back to work. He pledged billions to save their farms and their homes from foreclosure. He provided relief to the unemployed. He restored confidence in the banks and guaranteed the savings of millions of Americans.
I can assure you that it is safer for you to keep your money in a reopened bank than to keep it under the mattress.
His key was somehow to prop up capitalism. That was unquestionably in back of his mind. But he was a pragmatist. He was seeking to find solutions to the practical problems that beset people today. The banks were closed. Get the banks open.
And to sell the centerpiece of his program, the National Recovery Administration, he orchestrated an extraordinary publicity campaign. The NRA was designed to tame the unruly cycles of American capitalism by encouraging business and government to work together. Each industry was allowed to set its own wages and prices. Labor was promised the right to bargain collectively.
I went to the top of the Empire State Building on a day in, I think, June 1933. There was this enormous National Recovery Act parade, you know, they had this symbol, the blue eagle everywhere. It was on cigarette packages and it was in stores and so on. It was an immensely moving thing. I mean, there must have been 2 million people, it seemed like, up and down Fifth Avenue and everywhere, all just cheering, and the country just lifted itself up.
This was a great thing that was happening. The country was coming out of this incredible mood. Roosevelt was changing national despair to hope.
There's a new day in view, there's gold in the blue, there is hope in the hearts of men. All the world's on the way to a sunnier day, for the road is open again.
When the 100 days were over, Roosevelt had signed 15 major bills into law and created an alphabet soup of new government agencies. "We have had our revolution," one magazine reported, "and we like it."
Everything was up for grabs in a country that was basically a conservative country, but now had a leader to whom anything and everything was possible. The least ideological person that ever lived. That's why I think he was such a great success.
A few timid people
who fear progress will try to give you new and strange names for what we are doing. Sometimes they will call it fascism, and sometimes communism, and sometimes regimentation, and sometimes socialism. But in so doing, they are trying to make very complex and theoretical something that is really very simple and very practical.